Hello learners, welcome to NIOS. Today we will study part 3 of chapter 18. Our topic for today is the education in modern India. As you know that in the previous lesson we had discussed about the formation of Delhi Sultanate. And the education policy of sultanates. We also learnt about the important scholars and historians from the period like Amir Khusro, Minhas al-Siraz, Ziauddin Barani, and Afif, and their contribution in the field of education. Learners, we also came to know about the growth of education during the rule of Mughal rulers and their contribution in the field of learning. It is important to note that during the modern period, many features of medieval age continued, while many other completely disappeared. For example, the old centers of Hindu education and learning like Takshila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, Kanchi, etc. However, Islamic learning flourished under the patronage of the rulers and nobles. We know that the majority of Hindu population received education in pathshalas and temples. Even Europeans who came to India during this period noticed that Indians highly educated and people. Indians were highly educated peoples. Dear learners, the British ruled over India for almost 200 years, while the English East India Company was mainly a trading company. And its main goal was to earn wealth and profit from our country. However, there were English officers who were interested in the classical Indian literature and learning. Warren, Hastings, founded the Calcutta Madras in 1781. His main purpose was to teach the native Indians about administration. Later, Jonathan Deccan started a Sanskrit college. During this time, the Christian missionaries were making efforts to introduce Western education in India. They opened many primary schools in the country. The unique quality of these institutions was that they were open to the lower caste people also. This was a major change since ancient and medieval period when the right of education was reserved for the upper caste people only. Learners, now we will study about the developments that took place in the field of education during the 19th century. The first half of the 19th century was the period of introducing many changes in the field of education in the country. In the year 1813, the Charter Act fixed a sum of 1 lakh rupees for the purpose of promoting education in the country. However, this led the controversy between the Adlingans and the Orientalists. As both of them wanted to educate the Indians in their own way. Before moving forward, let us learn about these two new terms, Adlingans and Orientalist. Adlingans were those peoples who believed in the superiority of Western culture, race, religion, and language. Therefore, they were in favor of giving education to Indians in English medium related to Western subjects. However, the Orientalists were those people who respected the Indian culture, learning, religions, and languages. These people want to teach the Indian subjects through local languages. Learners, do you know that how this debate between Oriental and Edlingis was settled? Lord Macaulay's proposal, famously called Macaulay's Minute, passed in 1835 to settle the dispute. It was decided that the amount of 1 lakh rupees was to be spent on promoting European science and languages through English medium. Now we will discuss about the Wood's Dispatch, which is called as the Magna Carta of English education in India. Wood's Dispatch was the proposal that was made in the field of education. The most important achievement of this dispatch was to establishment of universities in Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. Some other important results of Wood's dispatch were promotion of women's education and using English and other Indian languages as the medium of instruction. Now we will study about the development of education during 20th century in India. Dear learners, in 1904, the Indian Universities Act was passed that made universities responsible for managing the education system in the country. It is important to note that the condition of mass education did not improve during the British rule in India. This was because of the colonial government wanted to create a class that knew English and could act as an interpreter between them and the Indians. Therefore, we see that the impact of English education was not same all over the country. As literacy rate was higher in city more than villages. Learners, it should be remembered that an indirect effect of English education was that may educate political leaders and social reformers were produced during this period. Let us now discuss the impact of English education. First of all, the Britisher encouraged the teaching of English language in schools and colleges as they needed people to work on lower posts like clerks. Second, The second result was that many schools were opened in the country where English education was given to the student. Many Indians sent their children to such schools as they believed that after getting English education, they will get good jobs. Number 3, the third impact of English education was that while the British promoted the growth of English education in the country for their gain, however, it benefited the Indians indirectly. For example, the use of English language united the people of the country. Learners, can you tell us why? We know that India is a big country and people living in different parts of the country spoke different languages. Therefore, there was no single language that could be understood by the people of the whole country. The use of English by Indian providing one common language that become a common link between them. Number 4, the use of English book and newspaper led to the spread of new ideas. For example, the ideals of the French Revolution, liberty, equality, fraternity become very popular amongst the Indians. This gave birth to the feeling of nationalism, and educated Indians began thinking to getting freedom from the British rule. Now that we have come to the end of this lesson, let us quickly summarize what we have learned today. Number 1, coming of British to India and the beginning of their education policies. Number 2, the Charter Act of 1813, its provisions, and the debate between Anglicans and the Orientals. Number 3, Macaulay's Minute of 1835, its provision, and the Indian Universities Act of 1904. Number 4, impact of English education in India. Learners, if you have any query, you may send email at signlanguage@nios.ac.in. For more information, you can visit our website at www.nios.ac.in. Learners, that's all for today. I hope you liked watching this video. Hope to see you soon. Bye.